Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting Beyond All Reason replay. I'm Turd Bucket, and I'm going to be taking you through this game that we played on All That Glitters, one of the most popular maps in the game Beyond All Reason. Beyond All Reason is a real-time strategy game with pretty simple concepts. You've got two main resources, energy and metal, that you've got to extract from the environment, whether you're using solars, windmills, fusion reactors, or metal extractors and energy converters. These will help you to build more structures, to build most especially troops to take out the enemy. All right, so we're going to skip through the beginning here and kind of see where we're going to be starting. So we got Chen Feng in the corner spot here, back canyon. He is disconnected at this point. We were not aware of that, but we did notice here in a few more seconds that he was disconnected, and we needed to pause the game and wait for him to load back in. I'm in the air spot here.
Battle paused.
And
Battle
Empower is in the tech and eco spot. Bird's Eye is in the corner, the other corner back spot here. Archangel on the front, opposite canyon. Saint Iwanal is next to him. Cosmos. And finally, we've got Visor. Okay, so we've got our front and back lines established. Because let's go ahead and take a look at the other team. On the other side, we've got Bugzer in the back canyon. Lord Consultant in the air spot. And D-Star Snake in the eco. Candyman in back next to him. Morning Beer, Deceit, Escanor 902, Duty the Blob. Okay, so that's the other team. We can see their top players have taken the front and the corner here, and our top players are actually in the back, which is fine. That's not a bad thing. As long as, if you're a top player, as long as you can affect the game in a good way, in a quick way, you're going to be fine no matter where you're at. A lot of high OS top players like to play on the front to continue to farm their OS and get higher and higher OS, because you can collect more resources more quickly and usually get damage and resource destruction awards by playing front, because you're going to be hitting the enemy more often than the eco player might, right? Doesn't mean that that's always going to happen, but that is what that's what some people do. So, all right. So, Cosmos, he is the fastest comm to the front here. You can see on both sides. We're very reluctant to get up there. Morning Beer is doing it as well. Even Deceit is staying in his base longer than the normal 2 minutes. But now he is starting to make his way to the front as well. So is Saint. So we've got a 2v2. Not in the same lane, obviously, but we've got 2 comms from the enemy team and 2 of our comms moving to the front. Saint is building every single mechs along his way, so that is going to take him a long time to get to the front. And you can see it's already developing, right? So Escanor doesn't even have his comm on the front, but he's got these grunts already up on the front, and he's able to continue to push and push and push, because he's going to be met with no opposition. Now, whether he does this or not is obviously the player's choice and the player's ability, but not having anything on the front here is going to make him realize that it's more wide open and he can do whatever he wants. I have to preface this game a little bit too, and say that Empower and I had been on I think 4 or 5 game losing streak at this point, and we had lost in some of the most disgusting and sad ways possible. We had one game where we almost had won. We were crushing them, and then we came in and got bombed. We had another game where we were absolutely crushing the right side of the map, and the left side collapsed, and they swept through and took us out all in one shot. So it had been a rough night, let's just say that. And so this game was going to be our last game no matter what, but we were definitely hoping for a W to end the night. All right, so you can see the enemy team is getting their comms up to the front much faster, and it's gonna cause some problems for us. At
Battle
least
paused.
we've
Battle
got
started.
the two folks up here at the top, Visor and Chen Fang. They are getting up there, and Cosmos. So and this is a key point.
Battle paused.
If
Battle started.
See, I take that comm and I immediately die over here. It's not a great play on my part, but at any rate, you've got the top two players here. They are playing against two aggressive frontliners, which is perfect. You need that. If these two top players were on the other side, we would not have won this game. I kind of gave away the plot a little bit here. We're not going to win this game if the top two players are up against Archangel, Birdseye, and Saint, because they're not forming a line. Look at this. Everyone's supposed to be up here. And who's up here? Got Cosmo and Chen Feng. Morning, Candyman, Deceit. On this side, these guys are way back here. And on our side, our guys are doing something weird. I don't know what the heck they're doing. So, without forming that line, we are not going to... We're not going to do anything, really. We're just going to languish and lose the front, slowly but surely. Chen Feng and Cosmos, they are lightening up a little bit, and you can see Deceit and Candyman have decided to go with some long-range units to try to take out their static defenses and try to snipe their comms. Meanwhile, we've got Morning Beer deciding to take a little run at us here in the canyon. So I did take Canyon player, which was difficult, but I felt like we needed to do something drastic to try to win the day here. So we've got some blitz on blitz action going. My second base, my newly claimed base is dying. I send some shurikens at least to come help after being a little bit AFK on the air side. And those shurikens are able to get those blitzes before they take out Chen Feng, which would have been really bad. If they had gotten both bases with that little run by, we would have been in big trouble. Morning Beer is doing the right thing. He is just piling up some troops here. He's got the canyon porked up, front entrance here. So he's doing everything he's supposed to. And so is Candyman and Deceit. Cosmos and Chen Feng, they stopped making units. And what do you see? Now that they've stopped making units, we are losing the front. Meanwhile, Birdseye, I should say, is doing some work. He's realized that, oh my goodness, we have nobody on the front here. So he is bringing his troops and comm up, and he is pretty deep in their territory now. Let's take a look at that line again, right? That line's right here. And now we've got Saints doing some work too. So we got Saint and Birdseye. They're making a little entrance in here. So now we've basically just traded the front here, right? Candyman and Deceit have moved up, and they're pushing Chen Feng and Cosmos back. Chen Feng is having to come over here and help in the canyon. He cannot help that lane anymore. He wipes out all of Morning Beer's troops. Alright, now you can see that they are worried about Saint because they have overextended themselves a little bit, right? And now Saint can come around and hit them from behind, which is going to be huge for us if we can get this done. What would be amazing is if we could get that commander. I don't know that we're going to be able to do it. And again, we've got a ball of maces, plasma bots, and when we ball them up like that, what's going to happen is they're going to take damage, splash damage together, and it's going to, you're going to lose more troops that way, right? It'd be better if you kept them a little bit more in the line, right? Another thing is they're surrounding the commander. Also not the best idea, but ooh, all right. So Bird's Eye is just doing some work over here, and Archangel is getting in on the action too, blasting right past Escanor's troops and heading all the way back to the eco player. My goodness, what a great play. So they're doing some really good work here. They are smashing them. You can see Bird's Eye is still taking out poor Escanor's base. Lord Consultant is trying to come over and D-gun. Morning Beer has been forced to bring his troops over. Let's see if he can pop something here. All right, so that's one thing Archangel could have done a little bit better. You notice here in this mix of structures, they've mixed in their energy converters, which create huge explosions when they go off. So it would have been best to actually continue moving the stouts back this way, maybe to this corner, and hit this on the corner, and that would have taken out this entire block of eco, and that would have pretty much rendered D-Star useless at that point. Okay, so Escanor, he's going to try to rebuild a little bit farther back now. And meanwhile, they are pinging Bugzer and Duty Bob to do something because they're not, they haven't been helping out at all with Archangel and Bird's Eye. Bird's Eye has created another lab. Let's check in on his eco real quick. So he is bringing in 49 metal. He's got his T2 going. He has got bots produced out of his back factory, and he's got tanks being made out of his front factory here. Archangel is cranking out tanks out of his Armada vehicle factory, and Saint has decided to tech up. I mean, it's 11 minutes, but I guess I'm not going to totally knock it. His eco is not quite good enough for T2 because the wind's so high right now. He's doing all right, but he could probably drop a solar, advanced solar maybe, or fusion, and then he'd be able to start cranking out T1. Saint is a new player, and he's actually playing very well for a new player. He's using his troops, which is nice, but again, shouldn't keep him balled up, and we should have a little bit more of a line rather than a big ball of units. And he does seem very apprehensive to attack the enemy, which is not good. You need to be able to go in and attack with some authority. You can see Deceit has nothing. Deceit has teched up. He's been teching up this the whole time. So he has stopped making units. And really, if Cosmos, Empower, Chen Fang, and Saint had all gone in on Candyman and Deceit, which Candyman has also teched up during this time, they would have been able to crush them. That's the type of play and the way you got to think. Otherwise, you can lose games. You can lose games for sure. And we are in danger of losing this game. Bird's Eye has decided to tech up on the front. It's a bit of a risky play. Some people do it because they like to have those units close to the front. On the flip side, if you have a leak and it gets through to you back to your main base, you can lose your main base pretty quickly, and you can lose your T2 lab a lot easier if it's that far up in front. But in this scenario, the reason why it's probably okay is because Bird's Eye has had his way with this front, and he's been doing it pretty much by himself. Archangel has sprinkled some things in here and there, but for the most part, Bird's Eye has controlled this front by himself. So I don't think it's a terrible play for him to build his T2 lab on the front there. Now, leaving all his other labs up, I'm not a huge fan of. He's not. This lab is idle, and he's got plenty of metal, I guess, but he's going to start running out of metal quickly with this Tsar being built. So probably would have been a great idea to suck up this lab, unless he had a particular reason not to. Maybe he wanted to continue to make res bots. Meanwhile, Archangel, he has built a metal storage because he sucked up his lab at his base. And he built his lab also on the front to try to get the troops here. Now we see kind of the issue with building your lab on the front. Now these units that are being made need to turn around and head back. Ooh. Meanwhile, a sneaky play with the stealth tank, the Gremlin stealth tank. These are cloakable tanks that that can sneak in behind enemy lines and take out your base at a moment's notice. So unfortunately, Saint gets a big chunk of his base blown up, but thankfully it doesn't take out his energy storage and his windmills. He's able to basically continue producing as normal there. It wasn't too big of a deal. Now Birdie, during this time, he's going all in on Tsars. It's not a bad strat. He just doesn't have a lot of units to screen for the Tsar because the Tsar is very slow, does a lot of damage, but it also cannot retreat very quickly. So if he had a big pile of units that came and attacked those Tsars, they would probably be able to take them out. Archangel's coming up. Hopefully we're going to see a D-gun here. We are not going to see a D-gun. The D-gun would have probably saved his commander in this instance. So if he had D-gunned these troops, that would have been enough to save his commander. So don't be afraid of D-gun, guys. In the commander explosion, he loses quite a bit. So he loses his lab. He loses, obviously, his comm. And so now he's got a pivot here, which it looks like he's not going to do. Bird's Eye is going to just take these Tsars unscreened and send them into Canyon. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting for sure. So a little bit AFK gaming here on Canyon's part. They are getting popped. And they are not doing anything to attack. The best thing you can do against the Tsar is to attack it head on, because long range, you're not going to win that battle. The Tsar has better range and more firepower than you're going to have with pretty much any other unit, unless it's T3. So, all right, let's see what's going on. So the Tsars are coming through and they're popping pretty much everything. They're very tanky, obviously. They're a big giant tank, so they can take a lot of hits, but they still have the potential to die. So you want to have a little screen of units that are fast, that can kind of run ahead of the Tsars, distract the other units. You don't really care if they die because the Tsar is going to pop them, and those units will take the hits instead of the Tsars, and then you can do some real damage. The other problem is he's got them bunched up again. I always preach to have everything spread out. So if this Tsar explodes, let's see here. Try to stay out of it. Man, maybe he's not going to explode. See, okay, didn't lose too much, but he lost some health there with that Tsar sitting right next to the other one. So when it exploded, he lost some health on that Tsar. So don't have your units bunched up like that. Otherwise, you are going to lose. You could potentially lose multiple units for no reason, right? You might as well not give them a free hit on your unit. Candyman and Deceit have pushed us back. We are in big trouble. Thankfully, Saint is still making tons of units, but he has lost his comm in the meantime. Canyon's pretty chunked up. I've been able, excuse me, I've been able to tech up in the front canyon spot. I'm kind of getting my eco going here. On air, I'm basically just coasting. I've got 25 planes in the air, which, to be fair, I had played against Lord. I played with Lord Consultant the game before, and he was not a very aggressive air player. We'll just put it that way. He's the guy we lost. We lost the game because of the bombing run. He didn't have enough fighters, and he was AFK. He was not sending the fighters he did have against the bombers. So anyways, long story short, not trying to call anyone out too much here, but I'm not full. I'm not my foot is not all the way on the pedal, right? I'm not pedal to the metal with air right now. I'm focusing more on this front canyon spot so I can try to help out this lane that got popped pretty bad. All right, you can see Bird's Eye. He doesn't have anything that can fire fast and screen for all these banishers and czars, so they are getting kind of popped by the thugs, but they are backing up, which again, you're not going to win that battle. The czar's going to be able to shoot you, and all your troops are just going to die. Your best bet is to just run up right on the czars, and the czar will actually start shooting at the units. Right, if you got a unit here, this czar will try to shoot at this unit, and it will do damage to this czar and this czar, right? To any other units in the area. So just when you're up against the czar, as long as the troop isn't too expensive, just run the troop right up against the czar. Especially if there's multiple ones, especially if they're all bunched up like this, and you will do some heavy damage. All right, we got a run by here. I try to get past and hit Mooring Beer, and you can see he just can't get past those blitzes and that LLT and the comm. So he's been pushed back now. So our front line is looking a little bit better, right? We got this riding the wave right now. Deceit and Candyman still have a little bubble up here on the front. Bird's Eye and Archangel haven't really claimed this, and Deceit and Candyman haven't claimed this, so we're basically in the same position that we were before. Nothing has really changed at this point. Both canyons are holding. The middle is kind of going back and forth, so we're pretty much at a stalemate right now. We're 20 minutes in. Let's check in on our eco players and see what they're up to. So D-Star is building up, he's just ecoing hard, and he's cranking out some jammer bots and radar bots. I'm assuming that he's supporting someone. Yeah, he's probably supporting the Mausers of Candyman and Deceit, although it looks like they've kind of switched into some different units at this point. Let's check in on Empower. Empower, he is ecoing, but he is also got his T3 lab up. He knows he needs to get something going here, otherwise the team is in trouble. So he's cranking out some T3. Let's check in on his economy real quick. He's bringing in 145 metal. He must be reclaiming something on the map here. Always a good idea. Let's see where his reclaim bot would be, but oh, right here. See, he's got these butlers. They're fast and they are excellent for reclaim. T2, and he's trying to gather as much metal as he can. He's trying to put up this third APHIS at the same time while he's building the T3, and you can see, you know, he's popping these Marauders out probably every like 6 to 10 seconds, depending on where his metal's at in that given moment. But he's using everything that he can. All right. So, Empower is cranking out these Marauders. Meanwhile, we are getting hit pretty hard. We lose a comm here, right up the middle. It's not looking good. Thankfully, Saint still has a good chunk of units that he can use to try to take out this force. Also, Chen Fang and myself are sending some units over to assist. Meanwhile, while all this distraction is going on, we've got our own push up the middle again. Here we go, trading sides once again. And Empower is going to try to break the stalemate by rushing through the canyon. This is a great play, and I'll tell you why. This push here, which I'll call out my AFK air here, I'm not providing the air support on these, is drawing all the troops from Duty and Bugzer to go help this area, right? And now they have nothing to stop Empower's push with the T3. Let's zoom in a little bit on this action. And it's finally getting noticed by their top player, Deceit. He's asking Duty to D-gun. We will see Duty dee-da. Is he going to get that D-gun off? All right. Empower sees the comm. He's just blowing right through it. Pops it before any D-guns can get off. Bugzer's coming up to D-gun. And Empower's doing the right thing. You notice what he's doing. He's not keeping the troops static. He's moving them around. Gets the comm there. Bugzer was on T3 himself, so he does get a couple of Marauders out, but that is not going to matter because Empower is unpowering his base right now. He's not going to have any energy or metal coming in. All right, we've got the attack now on the air player, Lord Consultant. And that is going quite well. Oof. All right. Well, we are in trouble over here on the other side. There's a bit of a boom coming. All right, we're 24 minutes into the game. And we have now completely wiped their canyon, their air player, and their eco. So, you'd think 24 minutes into the game, this is our status. We are going to win this handily with no issues. You'd think. But you would be wrong. So, we're going to see what happens when people don't make troops. So Archangel, couple of things here. I'm assuming he's got his T1 lab back up, maybe for some spam, or he had to drop it to build some units to try to help the front. But he also has his T2 lab built right up against this little plateau, this little ridge, this little mound. And you can see all these troops, they have to drive up the side of the mountain and then drive back down and then go around, right? Woo! Up the mountain we go! Over around. Oh, we're gonna get it. We gotta get it. We gotta get a little view on this. Come on. This is too good. Alright. I'm not laughing because I'm saying it's you know, he meant to do this, or, you know, anything like that. It's just, don't be afraid to suck up your lab. You know, if this isn't working and it's slowing down the troops coming out of the lab, suck it up real quick. You've got plenty of con turrets there. You can reclaim this lab and you can spin it around, right? Just take the lab and droop, droop. Spin it this way. Now your tanks are coming out this way and they're coming around, right? Or even better, I don't know what the range is on these. You could build it over here. You built it over here. Now your troops are coming out straight out like that. All right. Another thing is his unit mix. It's very interesting. He's building random amounts of different things. He doesn't have an anti-air, which is important because the last time they went through this canyon, but it's not a great play, and I'll tell you why. Their air player is dead. They don't have an air player. Don't waste metal on something that you don't need anymore. Empower already wiped out their air player, and then he built a turtle, which is a amphibious tank. It costs a lot of metal and energy. A bull costs 13,950, and it's faster and more effective on land. The turtle costs 15,000 energy and 750 metal, and it's slow, and it's amphibious. That's its greatest characteristic. So you're making a troop, you're making a unit that is not going to be effective on this map. All right, so what is saving this team? Why haven't we won yet? Let's take a quick peek. So Candyman has T3. Deceit has T3. And Morning Beer is cranking out Starlights. So they're just barely holding on. They're just trying to save what little they have left. Empower is going for another Marauder run. in the canyon. He knows that there's nothing left, so he can just run right through. The question is, why isn't this enormous clump of units that have now come up, why aren't they attacking? Right? You can see he calls for some help. Gondar calls for aid to try to distract them, right? And if this whole mass of units had pushed at the same time as the Marauders, none of these Jaguars would have come down to defend against the Marauders. And Marauders are not tough. Let's just be frank. The point of a Marauder is to be quick and fast and deal quick passing damage, which they're doing, but had and you can also see there's not much on this front anymore more other than static defenses, because they're pulling everything they have off the front line to stop the Marauder push. You can see, okay, Saint is now moving himself up, as well as Birdseye. But I mean, this would have been a quick easy win if they had all pushed at the same time, because they can't, these 2 or 3 players, they can't defend this entire line anymore. They have to pick and choose, and they're going to send their units where they think they need to go. Now here's the problem. They've taken out the Marauders, and now they're going to bring all their T3 and units back to the front, which are going to wipe out this poor unit mix from Saint, Cosmos, and Birdseye. So they repel the attack, and now we're kind of back to where we were, right? You need to be able to coordinate with your teammates, right? You need to be able to communicate that too. You can see Empower and myself are saying, hey, let's go. Let's get this moving. We all push at the same time, we can do some great things. And they're retreating. Again, if you have a large clump of units that are short-range T1, you are not going to win a battle against long-range T3 and T2. Your best bet at this point is to just push up into these starlights and do damage where you can, because all you're doing is losing your entire front line. We've lost almost all of our troops on the front line. Now the good news is again, they cannot defend every single front. So I push with Marauders over here. Saint and Chen Feng attack here, and look what happens. They cannot bring, they have no choice. They've got to defend that. And so Archangel is able to come in and sideswipe from here. Birdseye is coming in here. And Power is going to be able to come back around this way. You can't defend every single position, but you saw that they were able to repel that attack up here, only to lose this side, right? So now we've put a small dent into Deceit space. It's still not over yet. They are calling for a resign, but it's still not over. In fact, they're doing a counter push. This is their last gasp, desperate attempt to try to do something at this point, because I'm sure they're surprised that we haven't won the game yet. So they must be thinking that there's something abnormal on our side that maybe they can use to their advantage. So they're trying to reestablish this line again and seal off the middle of the map, which frankly we're giving them. Look at this. We are winning this game. We've got 7 players still in the game, and we are not going past the midline with our troops. All attacks are repelled once again, and now we have a single attack coming in from Archangel here. He's going to try to sneak through the canyon. But again, no coordinated attack from the front here, and from Birdseye down this lane again. And Empower's asking Archangel to do just that, along with Birdseye. let's check in on this unit composition. We still have this weird unit composition. They have no air player. He's got how many shredders? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 3. 3 shredders. 3 anti-air mixed in with jags, which also have anti-air. Not that you wouldn't make a jag, but you don't need these. These are useless units, and you're wasting all this metal. Look at the bowls. Look at the damage the bowls are doing. If you had turned those shredders into bowls, there's a good chance you take out at least this clump of T3. And he's not keeping them moving, which is another problem. When you just sit there and get shot, you're more likely to lose all your units. A single Mauser is not going to do any damage. You need to have a whole big pack of them. Okay, so they're trying to reestablish the canyon. We got Span coming in from me in the eco spot, keeping these guys on their toes. We're 34 minutes in the game, folks. At the 20-minute mark, we had killed their front canyon, their back canyon, their air player, and their eco. And then shortly after that, we killed this front guy. So we've been playing essentially against 3 players. 3 versus 7 for the last last 15 minutes. It's insane. Good news is Cosmo has got a T3 lab up. And so he's starting to get into those bigger, heavier units. And we are finally getting a nice push in on Deceit. What a sweet, sweet shot there, huh? Okay. That is pretty much GG's now. We've killed all their T3 in the canyon. Candyman is struggling on resources now. Morning Beer decided to stop making troops. Oh no! Man, you gotta stop that nuke and build some troops. Nukes are not gonna help you at this stage in the game. Maybe when they still had all 8, they would have helped, because they would have been able to nuke our front line and really put a big hole in it, especially on that strong side, right here with Bird's Eye and Archangel. If they had nuked this or this, yep, that would have been big problem for us. But this late in the game, we've got our antis up. Even if they nuked anything up here, we are going to be able to quickly recover at this point. We've got the real estate. We've got the map. There's not much else they can do. There's the Resign at 36 minutes. It's almost 20 minutes after we had the big push that destroyed most of their base. Here we are with the game over. Another exciting battle in the Beyond All Reason arena. I'm Turd Bucket. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Drop a turd in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.